Hello, hello. I think somebody just came in. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Geez, let's see. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I need to see the waiting room. How do I get to the waiting room? Well, it looks like I can't get there. Oh, why does it do that? Oh my God. Admit all. How do I fix this? Hold on a second, everyone. Welcome those who are joining. Just have to fix the waiting room. Get rid of that. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Jobity. I am the Brilliance Unveiler and founder of the Unveil Way, and I am excited to bring you this masterclass called Leading from Your Sovereignty, Embracing Your Most Potent Power Professionally. So this class is about bringing that sovereign energy to a very practical level, because if you're called to lead and impact lives, communities, organizations or the world, you must bring your most powerful self to the game. Embodying your sovereign to the fullest extent is a very powerful way to be that powerhouse woman, person that you are. And if you've listened to my presentation from my Power Shift Summit, your power playbook, Awaken the Power Within You, you would have experienced your sovereign perhaps for the very first time. I'm curious if anybody here listened to that presentation, and what was the experience like to try to embody that sovereign energy? I would love you to share in the chat. And if you haven't listened to that presentation, it's still available on my Power Shift Summit page, and also on my speaker page. I strongly, on my YouTube channel, sorry, I strongly recommend that you do this, as it will make this presentation even more transformational for you, because we're just gonna keep going forward with that topic. So I'm going to share my screen to, let's see, hold on a second, to kind of show and share something that I really want to make very, hold on a second, share. Okay. So I think you guys can see my PowerPoint here. So that's the sovereign image embodiment right there. Just a way to give you a visual to see what that could look like. And I want to read this. So we just had an election here in the US. The result was not what I expected. And I just listened to Kamala Harris's concession speech yesterday, and I really resonated with a lot of what she said. And I want to read these words because I think they're really important. She said, the important thing is don't give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible, because it has never been done before. You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. And the reason why I'm reading that quote is because it really resonated with me, especially these words, you have power, and don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible, because it has never been done before. You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. That's so much about what the Power Shift Summit that I just hosted and led was about. And it's kind of the energy of this topic today. And that's why I'm reading these words. And I'm really curious how they resonate for you. This idea of there's nothing impossible that you can't do, and you are meant to do extraordinary things. I mean, how does that land for you? These words really amplified for me how Kamala Harris models the type of leadership I'm very passionate about. A leadership that's based in equality, justice, dignity, fairness, decency, authenticity, and compassion. Hearing her words yesterday, I actually teared up, and I wasn't the only one, because people in the audience were also tearing up. And here's the thing, she fought the fight and lost, but she's not giving up on the fight for us to become who we need to be in this country and in the world. And we can't give up either on our vision and mission, what we're here to do, what we're divinely designed to be doing. And the way to keep moving forward is with support and with community, which is why I'm excited to unveil my Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy in this masterclass after we get through the actual class. So I want to also share this slide, and it's from Marianne Williamson's famous quote that I think everybody knows about, that our deepest fear, it starts out like this: our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And I don't know how this lands for you in terms of how you see your power. Could it be true that you're actually afraid of being powerful? So I want to transition a little bit into how our loss of power can show up in different ways. So it could be like we're going along with perspectives or ideas that are actually contrary to our values and beliefs. And honestly, I believe that many people, this is my opinion, many people who voted yesterday actually voted against their values for whatever reason they felt that they had to vote that way. And that's actually a loss of your innate power when you do things like that, whatever that might be. It could be resentment towards other people who seem to have what you want. It could be jealousy towards those who are living in their fullest expression. A loss of power can look like feeling disconnected from yourself and your gifts. It can look like feeling discontentment and unfulfillment in your work or business and in life. Being a people pleaser over your own self-advocacy and feeling stuck or trapped in your life. When you see yourself as worthy, capable, equipped, valuable, smart, all the things, full in your brilliance, you will not cave into the pressure of other people who they think you should be. Instead, you will stand solidly and authentically in who you are and who freely express yourself without worrying about what they think about you. So back to those verses. Which one resonates for you? Is your deepest fear that you're inadequate or that you're actually very powerful? Share in the chat what comes up for you around this idea of power and how you think of it. So I want us to go into now this notion of taking up space. We always hear that. I mean, I hear it a lot. I see it a lot. Taking up space. It's a topic I talked about a lot in my book, It's Your Time to Shine, Girl. Taking up space has to do with making our presence felt and known. I am over 6 feet tall, but back in the day when I was much younger, I used to want to curl up in a ball and actually be invisible. I wanted to be a petite, invisible woman. I had to learn to own my height and stand in its full strength and power. It took me a long time to get there. What I didn't know growing up was that my stature afforded me a privilege I didn't understand, because my height is a natural confidence gainer. People automatically assume I have more gravitas when they meet me because I take up a lot of vertical space. That's vertical space that I happen to take up. Not my creation, it's God's creation and make me do that. But making my presence known also has to do with the confidence I feel inside when I own my height and take up space with it. I shared in my presentation in the summit about practicing mountain pose. It's a yoga pose, and learning how to feel the power of standing tall and strong like a mountain. Standing solidly like a mountain is so powerful and exudes the type of confidence you just can't fake. This type of confidence that makes people look at you with respect, admiration, or awe because they feel and see your confidence. Playing small is what a lot of women do. Often we take up less space by making ourselves smaller when we feel out of place, insecure, inadequate. We slouch, keep our head down, drawing our arms and legs, or slump our shoulders, or we move to the back of the room and speak softer so we can't really be heard. We diminish our presence by these behaviors, and when we do, we're also telling ourselves that we don't belong. Physically minimizing our presence communicates a lack of authority, influence, and power. It conveys doubt about our right to be present and take up space. to be fully seen, visible enough to be acknowledged and valued and appreciated for what we're bringing. So I believe most women truly, truly, truly want to shine, but there's so many reasons why a woman's brilliance gets dull, diminished, or becomes barely visible glow. We fear being judged. We are uncomfortable with our own magnificence. We learn to take the backseat to avoid making others uncomfortable. We got used to inner narrative that said we didn't deserve to be seen or heard because we believe we weren't worthy of attention. We lacked confidence or struggled with our self-esteem. The bottom line is most of our discomfort with shining has to do with the fear of showing the world who you truly are, what you truly believe and think, and walking that truth out loud courageously. Many of us are taught not to take up space because it's inappropriate, arrogant, wrong, that we need to know our place. That was something that was told to me when I was growing up. And that if we take up space, we're being arrogant, and egotistical and taking away space from other people. Those are just scarcity survival narratives that are playing in our minds because of our conditioning. Ones that believe we are competing with others when we shine in our brilliance and take up our space. So I'm here to rewrite that narrative for us and say that we are meant to take up that space. So this next slide shows what taking up space, and that visual, that person, she is taking up serious space, and we'll get to that pose in a minute because it's a really powerful pose. Taking up space looks like shining, showing up, speaking out, leading, being visible and vocal, speaking with authority, bringing our full selves out front, being fully present, sharing our thought leadership, all the things. It's about here I am, here I am. And when we take up space from a healthy place, we do it from our confidence and self-assuredness, not from ego or desperation or wanting attention. We can't embrace our sovereignty if we are fearful of taking up all the space we need to shine, especially professionally. Make sense? Sovereignty is about stepping into your highest, most authentic self, a version of you that is not only powerful, but fully aligned with your purpose, values, and mission. I'm going to get into this next slide here. What embodying your sovereign is all about. Embodying your sovereign is the conscious act of moving from old patterns that keep you small or disempowered and not taking up space into a posture that allows you to be the queen you already are. To fully embrace our sovereignty and take up space, we must be in a specific posture. So now I'm going to talk about the 5 key postures I believe communicate this potent power. And the first one is our physical posture. Back to that image I just showed you on that slide. Standing in your sovereign power. So it's begin first, wherever you are, if you're sitting, standing, are you aware of your physicality? How much space you're taking up right now in energetically and actually physically? Are you aware that there's something called actually power posing? So that image I showed earlier, I'll go back to it real quickly, of that woman. She was actually, that's a power pose called Wonder Woman pose. When you stand like that and look straight ahead, no nonsense look on your face, arms on your hips, feet spread apart, that is a power pose for a reason, because it exudes a physical energy and vibe that says, here I am, you can't miss me. That's why Wonder Woman had that pose all the time. That was her famous pose. That's why it's called Wonder Woman pose. And we can use this pose at any time to integrate and feel and get that sense of physicality in a really strong way. This pose invites a feeling of confidence and readiness. So let's say you have a really important meeting coming up and you need to boost your confidence, guess what? Go in the bathroom, go in that stall and do that pose with yourself. I promise you, you will feel that energy. So that's one of the poses. There's another one called victory pose that looks like this. And you look up in the air, you stand. I can't stand right now, but if you, where you are, you can stand, look up in the sky and stretch and feel the stretch in your back and your arms in the air and honing in the energy from the earth coming into your body. And the victory of that pose, even looking at my hands like that makes you go like, yes, I got this, right? Whatever you need to say to, again, that's a power pose. That's like using your physicality to give you that sovereign power. So that's one example. You stand tall, shoulders back, chin up, feet firmly planted, while preparing or waiting to be present. This is actually scientifically proven to reduce our cortisol, the stress hormones, and increase our confidence. So I know you all, nobody here is showing up in the camera right now, but it's fine. Wherever you are, let's take 1 minute to be in a power pose. So I can't stand right now because I'll mess up my whole setup right here, but I'm gonna do the victory pose, and you can choose to do the Wonder Woman pose, or even the mountain pose, which is just literally standing tall like the mountain. And again, shoulders back, chin up, all that stuff. Just let's take a minute to feel the physicality of that power pose, to embody our sovereign. So I'm gonna be in my victory pose in my chair. And I actually do this a lot in my chair, and it actually feels really, really amazing because it gives me that stretch, but it also gives me that feeling, that high vibe of like, here I am. Oh my gosh, I can do this. I've got this. And I say those thoughts in my mind as I'm doing this pose. You can say those thoughts as you stand in whatever pose you want to right now. Wonder Woman, mountain pose. But these poses actually are a physical way we can embody our sovereignty from a physical, very physical level. I'm not actually counting the time right now, but hopefully it's about a minute. Take your breath, feel yourself breathing. Also, just feeling yourself breathing and just being present to that energy lets you go like, okay, whatever anxiety you may be having, again, in the professional context, if there's something that's making you stressed out, nervous, anxious, you can just take a minute and do that power pose to give you that boost of grounding, because it also grounds our energy and it also gives us that boost. So make it a habit to sit or stand in an empowered position throughout your day. If you find yourself slouching at your desk, shrinking in meetings, stepping back, shift into a posture that radiates your strength and your presence. This will also change how others perceive and interact with you. So by physically taking up space and adopting these powerful stances, you signal to yourself and to others that you are confident, in control, ready to lead. This is about claiming space, not just physically, but energetically. You are telling the world by taking up space that I am here, I am powerful, I am worthy. So in moments of doubt or disempowerment, you return to this pose. And here's a reflection question for you in the room right now. How do you physically show up in the spaces where you lead? Do you take up space confidently, or do you find yourself shrinking, slouching, or playing small in challenging moments? If you're comfortable, you can type that in the chat. All right, so let's get into our second posture. It's our mental posture, aligning with our sovereign thoughts. Shifting our mental posture involves noticing and changing our thought patterns that do not align with our sovereignty. These could be thoughts rooted in self-doubt, scarcity, or comparison. So let's say you are an entrepreneur and you're trying to get a client, or it could be a company or whatever, a person, whatever. You're trying to get this client and they're telling you you cost too much, your rates are too high. And in your head, in your mind, you start thinking, oh, they're right. I don't deserve to charge this much. I'm not that qualified. I'm not that equipped. Oh my God, I might lose this client. that those thoughts are now making you lose your power, lose your authority in that setting of a business transaction. Again, this is all about in our professional context. And so you need to shift your mental posture in those instances to one of abundance and worthiness and value and being equipped, and saying instead, my services are valuable. I deserve to be compensated for them. I deserve to charge XYZ rate. Knowing that about yourself and not letting somebody else make you feel a certain way about it. That's back to that mental posture of sovereignty. When you operate from a mindset of abundance, security, and worthiness, it changes the energy you bring into your interactions. This not only boosts your confidence, but also positions you as someone who knows her value and is unafraid to stand by it. So this is now, the mindset is a huge topic. I mean, in my book, It's Your Time to Shine, Girl, I have this whole concept, not my concept, but it's a whole framework around whether we have a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. When our mindset is fixed, we are stuck in our conditioning, in our scarcity, in our survival, in our negative, diminishing thoughts. And it's almost like it's fixed because it says, this is who I am, things can't change, I can't do anything else different. And you literally stay stuck that way. As opposed to when you have a growth mindset, which is open and curious and willing to learn and willing to be different and willing to expand, willing to be in the discomfort zone sometimes. That mindset changes the game. Adopting a growth mindset literally reframes the way you may have been seeing things in the past. So in moments of insecurity or self-doubt, you want to be asking yourself, what would my highest, wisest, most boldest sovereign self be thinking and believing about this? What would it do? How would I respond if I were in my sovereign identity right now? Which will shift you from fear-based thinking to thoughts rooted in your inherent worth value. What I highly recommend, and y'all who know me will know this, I'm a big affirmation girl. I have an affirmation card I pulled from my deck, She Shines Today. And it's actually funny because it's the last card in the deck. And it's saying, I am shining. It's the only one that looks like this. And that's the card I pulled for today. I'm like, well, actually I pulled it yesterday and I was like, I don't feel like I'm really shining right now after what I just heard about these results. But today I feel like, okay, I can shine. I can embrace that idea. And so affirmations are one of the tools you can use to reframe your mindset, to change and shift your mental posture. It is why I created my She Shines affirmation card deck. Those images in the background of my Zoom, that's from my She Shines card deck. It's a resource I use every day to help me anchor myself in my highest truths about myself. And I highly recommend it for anybody who thinks that they need to have that positivity. But it's not just about positivity, it's about realism, about embodying our most best, highest intentions and thinking. It's about a reminder of who we really are. It's a way to boost our confidence, and it's a way to ground us and keep us steady in times of turmoil. And honestly, I believe there will be lots of turmoil in these coming months with everything that's going on in this country. And so we need things to ground us and keep our mental posture in its most sovereign, again, I use that word keep because that's the point of this talk today, in our most sovereign state. A big part of embracing our sovereignty is our mindset. It requires attention, intentionality, consistency. It's a muscle we have to build to get to that point where our confidence is our default mode versus our insecurity. It's a muscle that has to be built every single freaking day. As a sovereign leader, your thoughts should mirror your power, potential, and alignment with your purpose. So on this slide, you'll see I have a few affirmations. That is from my She Shines card deck, and I will say them out loud. And I think these are just a few of the ones you can use to give you that sense of authority, confidence, and just steadiness and groundedness. One of them is, I choose to show up as my full self. I flow in the vast expanse of my strengths, creativity, and uniqueness. The other one says, I'm a voice, not an echo. I'm confident in boldly speaking my truth. And that one, I think, is going to be a really required mindset posture we're going to need for us to rise up the way I know we're meant to. And I really mean that one. And the next one, I am unstoppable. That word itself gives me the I am unstoppable. Each day I'm becoming the highest, finest version of myself. Wow. And one of the last one is one I actually shared with an attendee actually from my summit, shared what she took away from my presentation. I turned it into affirmation and says, I embrace my full height and stature as the mountain that I am. I own my power, feeling my strength as God supports me. I am open, present, and conscious of the magnificence that resides within me. And I love that. It's not in my deck right now, but I love that. It's so much about what I'm saying here right now. So let's get into our third posture. And it's about owning your emotional intelligence. Owning your emotional intelligence. Our emotional posture refers to the way we handle our inner emotional world. Sovereignty doesn't mean we never feel doubt or fear or sadness and all those emotions, but it does mean owning those emotions and not letting them control us. So we, again, Tuesday and yesterday in the United States was a very emotional, stressful, tense time. And if we were in our profession or in our business, we could have been very easily triggered, because when we're highly stressed, when we are going through a difficult time, or just things are going on around us that make us feel insecure, uncertain, that makes our emotions really more easily triggered, especially ones like anger, frustration, resentment, irritability, sadness, disappointment. And we, in our sovereignty, we want to be able to, one, acknowledge that we're feeling those things, but be self-aware enough that we know, okay, I'm feeling really frustrated right now. I need to take a minute, because if I don't, I'm going to be reactive in my response to interactions with people. So when we are aware, first there needs to be that awareness of how you actually are feeling. I'm feeling really easily irritated right now. I need to step away, take a breath, and it might be just count to 10, or just go out into nature, or whatever it might be for you to just get yourself back to center. But you have to recognize you need to be centered. So here's what I say. When faced with emotional triggers, we need to respond with intentionality versus reactivity. So pause and ask yourself, how, in those situations, how would my sovereign self respond to this? Your sovereign will never act impulsively. She responds with grace, with clarity, with patience, and intention. So give yourself the space to choose your emotional response. For example, again, something high stakes coming up in your job or your role, and something that maybe requires more visibility, and you're thinking, oh crap, I'm not qualified to do this. Why did they pick me? Why did I say yes to this opportunity? Oh my goodness, I'm gonna fail. And that's the negative Nelly going on in your mind, trying to derail you, because it's trying to protect you, because like, don't do that thing, Susan, don't do that thing. And when that happens, when the imposter is running loud in our minds, we can be easily triggered emotionally. So it's about recognizing, one, okay, my thoughts are not where they need to be. So back to the mental posture. And then two, okay, I've said some affirmations, or I've taken some breath, or I've done a little quiet meditation. And now I need to be like, okay, how do I want to respond to X, Y, Z, whatever that might be? So when we realize we're spiraling negatively, instead of reacting impulsively, we pause, take a breath, and recognize and acknowledge the emotion, and then ask ourselves something like, what is another way to spin this? Or what's another way to reframe this? There is always a silver lining in a situation, no matter how tiny that lining is. Seriously. So the action required Practice emotional regulation. When something triggers one of these responses, anger, fear, and anxiety, and all those. Anger and fear are two of the emotions that a lot of us try to avoid, but we have to get real. We are full-bodied human beings with we have happy, glad, and then sad, anger. We have so many emotions. So we pause, we reflect on, how do I intentionally want to respond to this situation? And then we choose an aligned, empowered response, even if it requires stepping back for a moment to gather our thoughts and our emotions. So emotional intelligence strengthens our leadership. It's one of the things I say, like when I do talks on leadership, emotional intelligence always comes up, especially the self-awareness, the empathy, and the regulation part of emotional intelligence, because those are the things that when they are not in aligned or in a healthy place, that's when we see toxic leadership. So you want to be able to be in a place where you get respect from your peers. And if you are the leader, which I hope many of you are, you create an environment where others feel safe, where we're creating a psychologically safe environment for other people to feel safe, to be their full selves, to be present, to be there. A sovereign leader does not suppress or ignore her emotions, but she does not let them dictate her actions. She responds from a place of groundedness and emotional intelligence, always returning to a posture of empowered. So if you feel disconnected from your emotions, this is an opportunity to invest in support to help you navigate them, because this is really crucial. This posture is, well, they're all crucial. They're all crucial, quite honestly. So question to consider: how do I respond emotionally when I'm triggered or under pressure? And do I allow my emotions to control me, or do I take a pause to reflect and respond from a place of grounded emotional intelligence? That's a reflection question on that one. All right, we're moving right along here. So the next posture, number 4, is the heart posture, opening to empathy and compassion. This is a big, I mean, they're all big. Like I said, they're all big. But this one is something I'm very passionate about, because I believe in empathetic, authentic leadership. And you can't be an empathetic, authentic leader if you don't have empathy. It's kind of a basic one right there. So it means from moving from fear-based, closed off, defensive, guarded, to a posture of openness, compassion, vulnerability, trusting, forgiving. Sovereignty is deeply connected to how you relate to others and how you extend yourself emotionally. So let's give an example of an empathetic response. So you're a leader and you have a team, and one of your members is not presenting themselves like everything's going well. It's clear to you that they're going through a difficult time, and their work is suffering, and you can see the results in their work. An empathetic leader, instead of going straight to judgment of, look at that poor execution of the plan, the initiative, or whatever, look how they're failing, will recognize that something is out of whack in that person's life, and then from a compassionate, heart-centered posture, approach that situation with empathy and understanding, rather than focusing only on the performance. So that leader will come and say privately to that person something like, I've noticed you have a lot on your plate going on. How can I support you? Or is there anything you want to share with me? Something like that, to open up that place for that team member, that colleague, to share what is happening to them in their lives that's impacting their work. That's what empathetic leadership looks like. That's what having an open heart posture looks like. So instead of assuming or judging, we open the space for that person to share as much or as little as they feel comfortable. It might offer them flexibility, and or we as the leader could offer, when we hear the response, can offer them flexibility or adjust the timeline or whatever it is to help them manage what's going on in their life. By leading with compassion, where team members feel valued and supported, this ultimately helps them regain their confidence and resilience. And it helps you create a work environment where everybody's thriving. So emotional intelligence is and that heart posture is all about us leading from that, but really it's how it benefits everybody else around us and who we lead. So how to incorporate, I mean, professionally, you want to be checking in with people. You want to be having spaces and creating those spaces where people can feel safe to come together or come to you and say what's really going on or what challenges or what struggles or what frustrations or whatever. You need to be open and available for those conversations. And when you sense somebody struggling, you can approach them privately. So offering tangible support wherever possible, but also letting them know that they are valued, obviously. So here's the thing, and here's a big part about this heart posture point and empathetic leadership. Empathetic leadership does not exist without healthy boundaries. And I talk about that in my book because it's so important to bring up the boundaries point, because as empaths, and some of us empathetic people are empaths, which means we just lean that way naturally. We tend to always see and feel and care almost sometimes too much to the detriment of ourselves. And so without boundaries, we can drain and burn out ourselves because we're taking too much and giving away too much of ourselves to other people. So that's about, now I'm an empathetic leader. I have to establish what my boundaries are. How much time and space do I give to XYZ person? How much do I let that person keep going off the rails? Whatever it looks like to you, knowing and setting very clear boundaries so that you are protecting your energy, you are protecting your space, and that you're not draining yourself to the end, right? So it's very, very important in this heart posture position that we have healthy boundaries. So I want to share that, we in the Power Shift Summit that I just had, this came up a lot, this whole idea of heart posture, empathetic leaders. And there's so many ways. If we're not an genuinely or naturally empathetic person, it's a muscle we can grow. So Heather Lynn was one of the speakers who actually did a 15-minute meditation in our interview on opening up the heart, what she called the heart chakra. And if you don't know what chakra is, you can go look it up. I can't talk about that right now, but opening up that heart space so that we lean into more empathy, we become more forgiving, kind, all the things. And one of the ways I know I'm a natural empath, but one of the ways I make sure that I'm always opening up that channel in me is by gratitude. So sometimes you can look up in the apps, there's an app called Insight Timer. They have so many meditations, but you can look up for gratitude meditations. Gratitude is a very easy place for somebody who's not a natural empath to try to lean into that space a little more, because gratitude makes us come into a place of grace, humility, understanding. It just opens up a whole different level of heart awareness for us. So that's one of the ways you can incorporate and strengthen your empathy muscle. Practicing vulnerability and openness. So yeah, to be empathetic requires vulnerability, and a lot of us are guarded. Brené Brown has a whole, oh my God, series about daring leadership versus armored leadership. Armored leadership is that very guarded, armored. That means the heart is shielded because of past trauma, hurt, fear, whatever it is, and those are all valid reasons. But that heart is so armored up that leader is unable to be empathetic or open or curious, and that makes them not as effective as the leader. So we want to make sure we're showing up, as Brené Brown would say, in a daring leadership posture where we are open, where we are willing, we are transparent, we are all the things. So connection to sovereignty. A sovereign leader leads with love, not fear. That is what our world needs more right now. And that to me is what Kamala Harris modeled in her time campaigning for the presidency of this country. Empathy is a theme that came out loud and clear in my summit. Like I mentioned, the more you open your heart, the more expansive your leadership. This doesn't mean you don't have boundaries, of course, but it means knowing that your power is increased, not diminished by love, trust, and empathy. So a question to ask and consider is, what practice can I engage in to open up my heart space? And like I said, there's tons of things out there. So many meditations, gratitude journaling is something I do, taking a few minutes in your day or in the evening to think what happened in your day that you're so grateful for, and just feeling that feeling of gratitude in your heart. That is an easy way you could spend 5 minutes doing this to open up that heart space and bring in more empathetic leadership. So the last of the postures is another, they're all so good and they're all important, is our spiritual posture. That's faith and trusting in your inner wisdom. So your spiritual posture, this is number 5 of the postures, involves your connection to your intuition, your divinity, your faith, and your spirituality. Sovereignty means trusting that inner voice and aligning your actions with the deepest truths that matter to you. As a woman of God, it is something that actually keeps me anchored, and especially in times of turmoil or stress, that I have my faith. I know that I'm not alone. I know that I'm divinely protected and all those things. And so, but also it's that faith part, but it's also the fact that as women, we have strong intuitive gifting. And that's another topic that came up so much in the Powership Summit, because feminine leadership, that is one of the key traits of feminine leadership and sovereignty, is intuition, and knowing how to leverage and harness what I think and believe is a superpower. So practical example here, a CEO, she's contemplating a strategic pivot in her business. And everyone is telling her, all her gurus, her advisors, counselors, tell us to go a certain way. But her knowing is telling her to go a completely different way, because something just feels off with the advice that she's getting. What does she do? Well, the old version of me, who didn't tune into my intuitive gifts, would have gone with what the advice I was getting, everybody else, all the experts were saying. But I have learned the hard way, but now the wise way, that it don't matter what they say. If my intuition tells me something different, I am following my intuition. Because here is the thing, and if you know me, you know I'll say this all the time, our intuition is so much more vast than our logical mind can comprehend. Our logical mind has its place, the rational part, the data part, the strategic part, all important, but it's nowhere near the power of our intuition. So in that example, instead of that CEO overriding her instincts with the logic and the data, she takes time to connect and feel into what her intuition is saying. She might meditate or pray or simply sit in stillness to get that, what I call intuitive hit. So for you as a leader, in a sovereign leader, harnessing that power, you want to make space for intuition and reflection in your day, week, month, year, rather than rushing to make decisions solely on facts and data and logic. Pause and ask, what feels aligned for me right now? And here's the thing, you have to learn to recognize how your intuition speaks to you. Everybody's intuition is different. And so you have to learn, how do I know it's my intuition and not my crazy delusional mind? You have to learn to discern the difference. And the more you lean towards those hunches, those gut instincts, the more you will build up your intuition muscle. So trust that quiet voice of wisdom that guides you towards decisions that are not just strategically sound, but spiritually aligned. Incorporate silence and, again, reflection throughout your day. And when faced with tough decisions, you ask yourself, what do I know to be capital T true for me right now? This question I ask myself when I'm really like conflicted. I'm like, What do I touch my heart, what do I know to be true? So you also see here that the heart, the spirituality, the emotions, the mental and the physical, they all are integrated. They're not separate from each other. These are 5 different postures, but they're all so intertwined. So back to, let's finish spirituality now. The sovereign woman is deeply connected to her spirit, her intuition, and inner guidance. She trusts herself and the wisdom that comes from within. She leads from a place of alignment with her higher purpose rather than external external expectations or fears. By trusting her decisions and being more aligned with that long-term vision and personal values, you will find yourself making more bold, sovereign choices that reflect who you are at the core. So, a reflection question: do I trust my inner wisdom and intuition, or do I rely solely on external validation and overthinking to guide my choices? Okay, getting into a lot here. So what are the key takeaways? So before I get to that, actually, I want to say this. So kind of wrapping it all up. Sovereign embodiment is about consciously embodying sovereignty at every level: the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. It's a practice of moving from all limiting postures, whether that's physically slouching, mental scarcity, emotional fear, or spiritual disconnection, to a new empowered posture that allows you to be your fullest, most sovereign self. So the key takeaways: awareness. Cultivate awareness of your current postures in life. Where are you shrinking? Where are you reacting from old patterns? Something really to spend a lot of time, because if you haven't done the work, this is big work right here. Conscious choice. Making that power shift is a choice. You have the power to shift your posture in any moment to one that aligns with your sovereignty. Number 3, embodiment is everything. We can't just know it and be like, okay, got it. That's not how transformation works. Transformation works by integration and embodiment. So sovereign embodiment is about physically, emotionally, and energetically embodying all the things I talked about just now. And then practice, practice, practice. You gotta build the muscle. Where you're weak, you've gotta keep taking intentional action to build up that muscle. Make your evolution to more of your sovereign be a daily practice, whether it's through physical power poses, the mental reframing, or heart opening meditations. Shift continuously into your greatest sovereign self. And by intentionally shifting our postures, we allow ourselves to step more fully into our sovereignty. And this is where transformation occurs, not only in how we see ourselves, but how we engage with the world. As we shift into sovereignty, we step into leadership that is authentic, aligned, and powerfully impactful. Whether you're an executive, entrepreneur, or a team leader, shifting your physical, mental, emotional, heart, and spiritual postures allows you to step into a new level of leadership that is powerful, aligned, and deeply connected to your true self. So I'd love to hear your takeaways for a minute. Which posture do you have to work on the most? Is it your physical? Is it your mental? Is it your emotional, your heart, your spiritual? Which one do you know you have to spend some time to really get deeper, make a deeper dive in to build up that muscle? So I'm going to stop the share of the PowerPoint right now and take a minute to breathe. All right. So I want to talk about my Leadership Ascension Academy, called the Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy. So this is something I am launching from the Power Shift Summit, something I've been excited to launch. And I'm just so glad to get this out here now in the open. You're the first to hear about it. It's a 12-month sisterhood, a community of visionary women with big dreams, high achievers in their 40s and beyond, seasoned in their zone of genius, ready to elevate their impact. Disruptors and change makers. That's why I read that quote from Kamala Harris in the beginning. Those are the people I believe we are the ones who are being called to rise up in these very tumultuous times that we're heading into right now. And so who are people who are ready, women, because it's a sisterhood, ready to break boundaries, lead with power, sovereignty, and influence. A collective of women who are not just ambitious, but aligned with their truth. Women who, like you, are ready to elevate to the next level, to take those big, aligned leaps of faith. Imagine being surrounded by women who see you, get you, and stand right beside you. Women who won't let you shrink, who won't let you pull back, who will remind you of your innate power, and who will walk with you as you navigate this next chapter of your destiny. This community is everything you've been searching for. The accountability, the insight, the ignition you finally need to go all in. So why now? I'm going to read a quote from Audre Lorde that says, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less important whether I'm afraid." I love that quote. I love that quote, especially the part of in the strength of using my strength in the service of my vision, because that's what it's all about. We're going to be called to be stretched out of our comfort zone. When I launched my summit at the end of October, I kept stressing how these are pivotal times for us to speak out, stand out, show up as women. When I wrote my book, It's Your Time to Shine, Girl, back in 2022, that was the clarion call. That's why I called it what I did. It's your time to shine, girl. I was feeling this energy of women being called to be their fullest, most powerful, most brilliant selves. Now, with the election over and the winner being a very autocratic, controlling, non-empathetic leader, I would use the word "it's vital" to describe why women have to step into their power in leadership even more strongly and more potently. The system is broken. That's my opinion, but I believe it's true. This democratic system that we're in is broken. A vast majority of Americans voted for a felon for president, to me, speaks volumes for where we stand as a country and how much we have normalized toxic leadership. And the fact that so many men weren't comfortable with a female president that they would vote against their values and views astounds me. But here it is. It's a wake-up call for us all, especially women, and those of us who know we've been appointed to lead in our domain of influence. We have to rewrite the playbook of how this is done. The Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy is for visionary women who have accomplished much, but know there's a next level waiting to be unveiled. High achievers in their 40s and beyond, seasoned in their zone of genius, ready to elevate their impact, and disruptors and change makers who are ready and eager to break boundaries, lead with power, sovereignty, and influence. I'm going to share my screen with you now because I'm going to put a link in the chat as well. To share my screen to show you what I have. Oops, is it going there? What I have created with this. Okay, it's not doing that for some reason. Let me try it again. What I've created with this Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy. There it is. There's the link. So I'm going to share my screen again. This time it's going to be my web page. So here it is. Welcome, welcome. So as I said, it's a 12-month sisterhood to bring our boldest, most professional dreams to being. So imagine this. This is what I wanted to start with, this visualization for us all. You wake up every morning feeling clear, energized, and deeply aligned. I can't actually see my full, let me see if I can move this up. Can't see my full page right here, right now. second. Okay, maybe that's better. Not sure. Nope. That's better. Okay. Yeah. Imagine this, like I say, like I show here. You wake up each morning feeling clear, energized, and deeply aligned with the work you're here to do. You step into meetings, speak on stage, and lead your teams with an effortless presence that demands attention, not because you're the loudest, but because you own your space. Back to owning our space, taking up space. You make bold decisions, create transformative impact, and inspire others by simply being the most authentic, powerful version of you. This isn't just a dream. It's your next chapter, and the Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy is the container where it all unfolds. If you're tired of looking outside yourself to figure out exactly how you're meant to make your mark, tired of squishing yourself into somebody you're not because you feel like your deepest gifts won't be valued, then this Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy can be an aligned next step. Here's another quote. I raise up my voice not so I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. We cannot succeed when half of us are held back. This is why we're being called, y'all, to rise, and we need a container to support that, and that's what I'm creating here. It's your time to fully realize the highest contribution that only you can lead. You're meant to move from hanging back on the sidelines to being the leading go-to expert and innovator in your business, community, or industry. You're meant to experience undeniable joy that comes from leading a meaningful life. You're meant to be the change you want to see in your arena. It's all here at this pivotal moment in time. There's a call to level up into the sweet spot of your highest contribution and lead, innovate, and reinvent the ways things have been done in a new way that aligns with your position, perspectives, preferences, and purposes as the powerhouse, or the P's, woman that you are. Oh my God, because there's so much more and you know it. You are a multifaceted, multidimensional being, and you have gifts that have not yet been brought forth that you know it's time to bring to light. You have a genius, a vision for your mission, a contribution that you're here to make that feels deeper or bigger than what you've accomplished until now. Maybe in your 40s, 50s, 60s, or beyond. And you've always been high achieving and ambitious, but you've plateaued, and you need that ignition to let you come to full life again, because you're here to bring something new to your arena in a way that makes a profound difference. You know it's time to be in the opus, to be in the genius, and bring forth what it is you truly came here for, your divinely designed destiny. And with clarity, community, and renewed confidence, you can move forward boldly and brightly to bring it to fruition. Now is the time to come to your highest contribution, fully championed by the vision that your highest self has for this phase in your life. This is my intention for you in the Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy. Oh, you can see I'm excited. It's all on this webpage, and I have the link in the chat so you can see it. You will get to make your mark and lead your way by being in this community, this collective, this sisterhood, without trying to fit into a box that somebody else created for you, without overthinking every decision you have to make, without overworking and exerting yourself to a point of burnout, without losing momentum by getting caught in distractions, the life we live in, right? Without staying stuck in your zone of excellence, without sacrificing your authenticity to meet others' expectations, without feeling isolated in your journey. Join a supportive sisterhood where you can share your challenges, gain insights, and receive the encouragement you need to thrive, because leadership does not have to be a solo journey. Guess why? Because you absolutely deserve it. And it's our time as women to lead with our bold feminine genius, which is the heart of the Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy, leading from empathy, intuition, collaboration, inclusivity, generosity, unity, creativity, humility, and command. Because when we lead in that posture, we elevate not only our leadership, but those whom we lead. And isn't that what you want? So I want you to say a yes to joining this Leadership Ascension Academy. I have a testimonial right here. Why now? Because I said it before, this is the season to ascend, to not just play bigger, but to play aligned. You are being called to believe bigger, show up bolder, and share your expertise wider in your leadership. In this Leadership Academy, be excited to amplify your secret sauce, supercharge your vision, shed limiting narratives, unlock new possibilities that are bigger, bolder than you could ever imagine right now. Activate your inner authority and agency and lead with ease. There are so many benefits from being in this sisterhood, a virtual sisterhood like no other. Let's get real. Being a high achieving visionary woman can feel so isolating. You're often the one others look to for guidance, but where do you turn when you need support? This academy is so much more than just being a leadership development program. It really will be a sisterhood, a collective of women who are not just ambitious, but together in alignment on their values, even though they have different missions and visions for what they're here to do. Women like you who are ready to elevate to the next level, to take those big, bold, aligned leaps of faith. So imagine, okay, all the things. And here's a picture of me at my last Women's Catalyst Circle, which I do here in Columbia, Maryland. This is a community I have created in person that I am now translating to being a virtual one that's going to be not just every 2 months, but twice a month interactions with me and other amazing members of this collective. As Serena Williams said, every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We're strongest when we cheer each other on. Another testimonial. Here's a structure. Twice monthly 2-hour Zoom calls, twice a month, where for each month, one of the calls will be let's say a check-in, challenge, hot seat coaching, strategic planning, a very practical, more like getting in the do of what you're here to do. So all those things I mentioned, and this is going to be expanded as we get into it. This is now the initial vision, but like every month, a 2-hour call where we're just going to focus on where you're feeling stuck, where you're feeling challenged, and working together to get you through those. And then the second 2-hour session every month is going to be focused on a theme, which is the things I speak about, and I'm so passionate about it. I believe, have to do with leadership ascension, where there'll be some teaching, integration, embodiment, and live Q&A around, and I'm going to say all the themes right now, but it's all to be determined because they may change and evolve, but this is the picture I want to get. For number one, month one, envisioning your bold legacy broader and bigger. It's like really having a different expansive mindset for how you see what you're here to do as a change maker, trailblazer, leader. Month number two, refining that vision, mission, purpose, so it's actually really tangible. Sometimes our visions can be so large and so it hasn't been done before. Back to what Kamala Harris said, nothing is impossible. You just have to get rid of the negative narrative to tell you can't, or it's too crazy. In community, you get to believe and have other people holding your vision and mission with you and seeing you get to do it. Month number three, embracing your sovereignty, because that has to come up again, because we have to see how we are not doing that and how we can move forward more boldly in that sovereign power that I've just talked about. Month number four, many high achievers have a playbook. We need to get to a place where we're not going by that playbook, but one of surrender, receiving, being, allowing, as opposed to being the one to do it, as opposed to the grinding and the hustling, as opposed to the get it done. So we avoid burnout, y'all. Huge, huge one. Month number four, mastering your manifesting mindset. Because here's the deal, our thoughts dictate our reality. And until we start figuring out what is going on in here and why things out there look so cray-cray, we won't get past the blocks, the hurdles, the challenges. So that is going, they're all big, as I'm saying. Month number six, self-awareness, removing blocks and perceived limits. This is back to what has kept you stuck in your zone of excellence? What has gotten you plateaued so you can't move forward? Let's break it down, get it out so you can truly be free from all those limits, self-perceived limits. Month number 7, breaking that glass ceiling, because one of my interviews in the Power Shift Summit, we talked about, is there really a glass ceiling? I don't know the answer right now, but how do we ascend with sovereignty and power? That's about harnessing our power really potently. Month number 8, leading with feminine attributes like empathy and grace. How does that work? How do we do it? Some of the things I talked about today, but going so much deeper into those topics, so much deeper. Month number 9, trusting our intuitive gifts as feminine leaders. Again, a topic that has a huge impact, I believe, for women. And if we get deeper, wow, I just know you will tune in and tap into parts of yourself that you don't even know. And it will make you more powerful, more impactful, more effective. Oh my goodness. Month number 10, amplifying courage, resilience, tenacity. Because here's the deal. If we're going to be a trailblazer, change maker, disruptor, we need freaking courage, because this is going to be a hard, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But these into coming in 2025 is going to be cray. And we're going to need that support and community and validation to keep on going when the going gets tough. Month number 11, elevating your leadership presence and energetics, because guess what? I speak on this topic alone in presentations, because our presence says so much about who we are, speaks to others, and communicates things we may not even realize. And month number 12, that next level elevation that you might need. So there's all of that. Plus, there are quarterly intensives, 3-hour Zoom sessions where we will go deep dive into whatever comes up, depending on the group of women I have together, and embody and integrate key learnings. Another thing, another benefit, number 3, you get an accountability partner to help you. So somebody outside of the Zoom sessions who will be with you for at least 3 months. Maybe you check in every week, every 2 weeks. You guys decide how you do it, but you get to keep each other accountable to move forward in your vision mission. Oh my goodness. And a community of women privately where we all get to communicate with each other and validate and share and all the stuff. So many benefits of joining this collective. I have a whole list of bullets here. I don't want to keep talking about all the benefits because there's so many benefits, plus amazing bonuses worth 3 months, including the biggest one. You have opportunities in this Leadership Ascension Academy to get one-on-ones with me in our sessions in different ways, to get time with me. I am the brilliance unveiler. I am a leadership elevation strategist. This is my calling, to help you women rise up. This is where I'm called. I didn't make it up. It's where I was called. So let me do my work so you can do your work, right? You get that. That alone is worth 3 months. Plus, oh my gosh, resources and worksheets to process and integrate all the learnings we'll be going through in those 12 months. And practices and techniques, because it's not just about the mental knowledge. So many things are all about the knowledge and learning. I know you'll go Google whatever and get some content. This is about less about the knowledge content, more about bringing it into being in you. So there's embodiment needed, and that takes integration. That takes some different modalities that I will bring to this collective. And every person in the collective, the Sisterhood, will get a complimentary copy of my book, It's Your Time to Shine, Go, or my affirmation card deck, She Shines. So much more. Do you feel called? Do you feel ready to ascend to your next level? You who are listening to me right now, say these words. Are you feeling called? Then the Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy is your next aligned step. It is time to claim your power, stand in your sovereignty, and lead powerfully. There I am, that picture of me saying, welcome, welcome. What is the investment, you may ask? I'm glad you asked. It could be $7.79 a month each month. That's a value, but it could be that. It could be $4.79 a month each month for 12 months. Totally worth that and more. And guess what though? You are getting that extra special price till November 18th, and that's when it's going to close, y'all. $297 a month? Are you kidding me? Do you know how literally that is like a sale beyond a sale price? Like, And why am I giving it that price? Because I want women to join. I don't want them to say, oh, I don't have the, because that is not a lot to invest in yourself. In yourself. Okay, so let's address some of your doubts while we're at it right now. I don't have time. Seriously? I understand. Time is moving fast. Time is actually an illusion, but that's a whole other topic. But it is moving fast and it's precious. But that's why I've designed the Academy to be impactful without being overwhelming. If you can't make a Zoom, no problemo. They will be recorded and you have access to all those recordings. But here's the thing. You want to show up as much as you can because that's how you will get that community, that vibe, those opportunities with me. That's where you will get all those things. So you want to try to show up as you can. But if you can't, no worries. This is an investment in your future that will actually free up time. That's the thing people don't understand. When they embody a more sovereign posture, time actually becomes less of an issue. Okay, another problem. I've already accomplished a lot. Do I really need this? Hello? What did I just say about the times we were in? Oh my God, look at the leadership, especially for you and this for everybody in the world. But for anybody in the US right now, seriously, you know why you need it? Because it is going to be tough. And because you can't lone wolf it to get to the next level. So yes, I congratulate you for all you've done, but there's more there. There's more. It isn't about starting from scratch. This is not newbies here in this collective. No, it's about elevating your existing brilliance to an even greater one. I am not sure if the investment is worth it. Okay, yeah, you don't have any evidence, but guess what? I have so many testimonials on this page, and you know what? I have been doing this work. You see my passion. You can go on my YouTube channel. You can see me talk about different things. This is something that you can go and level up to my Power Shift Summit lifetime access to get access to all those interviews, because you will see what comes out of me and what I'm able to produce and create. And you will know that this is 10 times worth it. It's 10 times worth it if you are ready and aligned and know that this is the right. It's back to, what does your knowing know? What is your knowing telling you right now? Oh my God, you are gaining, when you join this, gaining knowledge and a transformational experience that will shift your entire leadership trajectory. So it's worth it. I mean, that you could take my word or not, but I promise you it's worth it. And the next challenge you might be thinking in your head is, I've tried programs before, but they didn't work. This is a little different because it's not just, again, knowledge stuff. It's really going to be experiential. If you know me from my Women's Catalyst Circle, you know I don't just say stuff. We do stuff. We integrate stuff. I open up the room and create that safe space for women to speak and for things to be said that need to be said, to break those narratives, to let everybody else know that what they think and feel, they're not the only ones feeling it. That's one of my gifting, is creating safe spaces. So I don't know what you tried before. I can't speak to that, but I just know this will be different. And why does this all matter? Let me read my bullets right here, right now. Because you're ready to lead from your most powerful position. You're ready to stop playing small or settling for good enough. You're ready to break through barriers, own your space, and lead boldly. This isn't just about achieving more. It's about being more aligned, more influential, more fulfilled. It's about creating a legacy that reflects the best of who you are and the more profound impact you're here to make. And with me by your side and a sisterhood of powerful women supporting you, you'll have everything you need to take those aligned leaps. Another testimonial. More reasons why. Another picture of me in my Women's Catalyst Circle, and then a bunch of quotes from people, testimonials of people who have been to my Catalyst Circles, my workshops, my webinars, presentations. All these you can read to get a sense of who I am. Your time is now. We will officially kick off on January 17th, but we will have a welcome meet and greet on December 6th. So those doors are really closing on November 18th for this collective. And so I just hope, if you're feeling that nudge, that you will not second guess yourself, but you will just say yes and join the academy today, because you are destined for greatness, beautiful lady. Oh my goodness. I'm going to stop my share right now. I don't know who's left here, but I just hope you all got a lot from that. I will, let me see, I think I have to get my slide deck again. Let me just go and share that real quick. Slide deck. All right. Where am I? Oh, here it is. So this is what you're talking about with the Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy, the investment, the timing, and there's sorry, I didn't say before, a pay in full price of $3,197 for the whole 12 months. Y'all, that is a drop in the bucket for most people. And I am saying, like, oh my gosh, like, I am excited to bring this to birth this academy, because I am feeling that, oh, I'm called to do it. And there are certain women waiting for this to come out here, and here it is. So if it's your time, let's ascend together. If you have questions, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to answer anything. Again, another page with all the benefits of all the things that are already on the webpage. I will put the link in the chat again. And I think we're at time. Oops, give me a second. Oops, how do I stop the share? Stop the oops, wrong. Ooh. Stop the share. There I am. And I'll put the link in the chat for you to get onto that page and see what's all in there and sign up. Thank you, all of you who showed up. If you have any questions, please put in the chat. If you have anything you want to share, please put in the chat. I'll be on for one more minute. One more minute. Any questions, any takeaways, any ahas, anything at all? All right. Oh, so I saw a huge reason we might be afraid of power is that it means we are responsible. If we have no power, we can blame others for. Yep. Thank you, Tiffany. I'm just seeing that. Sorry about that. Didn't see that before. Yes. Okay, well, I see no questions here, so I am going to end our session. Thank you for those of you who showed up. And for those of you watching this replay, I hope to see you in the Power Shift Leadership Ascension Academy.